I see a ton of people recommending the S&P 500 because it traditionally has had a decent return on investment. If you look at the last, say 10 years for the S&P 500, it's had a decent, after you take away inflation, 7 to 8-ish% return on investment. That's good. That's great. But that doesn't mean every single year it will have that return on investment. For instance, this year, it's pretty low. So you have to recognize that it's not actually going to be that much every year. We talk about investing into stuff, and sometimes people who are in financial advisors and things like that, they talk as if because it's happened before, this is what you expect, and you get a sense of, oh, this is what's going to happen each year. But that's not actually what's going to happen each year. It's the big warning that I tell people who want to live off dividends. Some years are going to be better for that business that's giving you dividends than other years. Some years are going to be better for the growth of your stocks if you are doing the 4% rule as your retirement. When people retire, after a certain point, it's a recommendation. They sell 4% and use that money to live off of as part of their retirement. And it's so important to understand that not every year your stock portfolio is going to look that great. Some years there's things that are recessions or even depressions that come up, and it's just something that's going to happen. Not every year is just non-stop growth. Not every year is non-stop profit. So you have to recognize there's gonna be fluctuations. Some years are gonna be awesome, and some years are gonna be leaner. In capitalism, there's a cycle of rise and fall. There's gonna be a few years of growth, and there's gonna be a couple of downward trend, and then it'll grow again, and then it'll go down again. That's just a cycle that happens quite naturally with the system. It's predictable, and it's very important to recognize that if you intend to live off of an investment portfolio, whether you're doing it based on growth stock or you're doing it based on dividends, things just because maybe they had a nice chunk of growth that was decently consistent for a while, it doesn't mean it's going to be that way forever. And it doesn't mean that just because the overall average growth per year over the last 10 years was such and such amount, that every year it had that much growth. If the average growth over the last 10 years is such and such amount, that means some years it was more than that, and some years it was less. So try to accept that, try to understand that, because it's very important to get through retirement knowing that. There are some better investments than others, and the S&P 500 can be one of them. But don't think that things only go forward without ever taking any steps back. That's just my little warning, or however you want to take it. It's be aware. It's not always predictable.